Matapos na nating busisiin ang Senado bilang isang sangay ng gobyerno, alamin naman natin ngayon kung ano ba ang House of Representatives o ang Kamara. Ano ba ang tungkulin na ginagampanan nito? Anong ugnay nito sa Senado? At ano ba ang nabuong pagtingin ng mamamayan dito? Tama ba ito o mali? Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako si Pinky Aceron.
At ako naman si Alex Colet. May mga pagtingin na ang House Speaker daw ay malaki ang manalo bilang presidente ng ating bansa. Saan nagmula ang pagtingin na ito? At ano-ano naman ang dapat nakatangian ng isang kongresista? Samahan ninyo uli kami sa isa't kalahating oras na talakayan para alamin ang isang sangay ng gobyerno, ang Kamara.
Nang makalaya mula sa 300 taong pananakop ng Kastila ang Pilipinas, naitayo ang revolusyonaryong gobyerno sa pangunguna ni Aguinaldo. Pinili niya ang mga kinatawan sa Malolos Congress, ang kauna-unahang legislatura sa bansa. Una sa mga napagkasunduan dito ay ang Deklarasyon ng Kalayaan ng Pilipinas at ang pagbubuo ng sariling saligang batas. Nang sakupin ng Estados Unidos ang Pilipinas, isa sa ginawa nilang dahilan ay upang turuan daw ang mga Pilipino ng pamamahala. Isa sa unang hakbang ng kolonyal na pamahalaan ay ang pagbubuo ng Philippine Commission. Itinayo ito noong Setyembre 1900 na natili hanggang Oktubre 1907. Ang Presidente ng Amerika ang pumipili ng mga miyembro nito. Nagbago ito noong 1907 nang pangunahan ni Sergio Osmeña bilang House Speaker ang pagkakaroon ng two-chamber Philippine Legislature sa ilalim ng panukalang Philippine Bill of 1902. Ang Philippine Commission ang Upper House at ang Philippine Assembly naman ang naging Lower House. Binago naman ng Jones Law noong 1916 ang legislative system. Nagkaroon ng bagong bicameral Philippine Legislature na binubuo ng Kamara at Senado. Nagbago muli ang legislative system noong 1935. Ito ay naging unicameral National Assembly sa ilalim ng 1935 Constitution. Matapos ang 5 taon, nagkaroon ng amendment sa konstitusyon at nagkaroon ng bicameral Congress. Tinaguri ang unang Kongreso ng Republika, ang Kongreso noong 1946. Taon kung kailan iginawad daw ng Estados Unidos ang kalayaan sa Pilipinas. Pero noong 1973, ang bicameral Congress ng unicameral na batasang pambansa sa ilalim ng parliamentary system. Ibinalik ng 1987 Constitution ang presidential system kasama ang bicameral Congress ng Pilipinas.
Kung tutusin, magkarugtong halos ang kasaysayan ng Senado at Kongreso. Dahil nga sa ilang yugto, pinag-iisa ang tungkulin ng dalawa. Alamin natin kung ano nga ba ang ugnayan ng Kongreso at Senado sa patuloy nating paghahanda para sa hatol ng bayan. Sa pagpapatuloy ng paghahanda sa hatol ng bayan, kasali po kayo sa talakayan. Ipadala lamang ang inyong mga tanong o komento sa aming Facebook page at www.facebook.com/paghahandaptv o kaya sa aming Twitter account at paghahandaptv. Maaari din kayong magpadala ng mensahe sa paghahandaptv@gmail.com.
Kanina ay napanood natin ang maiksing kasaysayan ng Kongreso nung nakalaya tayo sa pananakop ng Kastila. Saka pala nabuo yun, no? Ngayon naman ay himay-himayin natin. Anong tungkulin ng Kamara ng Pilipinas? O sino-sino ba ang bumubuo nito? Ano ba ang ugnayan ng Kamara sa Senado?
At para samahan tayo sa ating talakayan, narito po ang ating mga panauhin. Let's start off with the chairman of the House Committee on Justice and the lead prosecutor of the Corona impeachment trial, Please welcome Representative Neil Junjun Tupas Jr. of the 5th District of Iloilo.
Magandang hapon.
Yes, araw po sa inyo.
Magandang araw.
Yes. And of course, we also have with us the Vice Chairman of the Committees on Appropriations, Foreign Affairs, and Poverty Alleviation. We have Representative Orlando Fua Sr. Of the Lone District of Siquijor. Magandang araw po sa inyo, sir.
Magandang hapon sa inyo at sa lahat na nanonood dito.
Yes. And of course, last but not the least, we have one of the authors of the Senior Citizens Act and former congressman of the 1st District of Parañaque. Please welcome Representative Eduardo Shalcita. Welcome.
Magandang hapon po sa kanilang lahat. Mabuhay po kayo.
Yes. Okay, so umpisa na natin ang kwentuhan natin, ano? Ngayon po kasi ang ating tatalakayin ay yung dynamics ng Kamara or the House of Representatives. Okay, so paano po ba talaga gumagana ang Kamara sa Pilipinas? No? As part of the political system of the country.
Siguro, unang-una, Pinky, di ba yung sa Constitution natin, the three great branches of government, tatlo yun eh.
Right.
Executive, legislative, and the judiciary. Yung legislative doon is composed of the Senate and the House of Representatives. Kongreso yon. So yun yung legislatura. Yung isa sa tatlong great branches ng gobyerno, ng government, yun yung legislative branch. At doon mo makikita yung Senado at yung House of Representatives.
Okay.
Basically, yun ang gumagawa ng batas. At dalawa yun. Kailangan may ipasa sa Senado yun. House of Representatives kami yun. Masasign ng dapat ng Presidente para maging batas yun. So simply put it, ang legislatura, ang Kongreso ay gumagawa ng batas para sa ating bayan.
Yung proseso naman sa paggawa ng batas, Congressman Fuha, paano ba nagsisimula ang paggawa ng batas?
Una-una, isang membro ng Kongreso, whether in the Senate or in the House, ay mag-file ng kanyang House Bill or Senate Bill. At then it will go to the receiving clerk of Congress and then went up to the Committee on Rules, and the Committee on Rules will refer it to the House on first reading. The first reading would consist of the reading of the title of the bill and the referral of the bill to the appropriate committee. After which, the committee that is given the task of considering the bill, will consider the bill under the committee level, and if it is approved by the committee, it will go back to the House for second reading. And it is there where all congressmen may participate in the deliberation by either asking questions or by introducing amendments, and finally in voting for the bill.
Pero kailangan tutukan mo yun sapagkat hindi lang isang bilang pinapasok ika nga, no? You're competing against, especially towards the beginning, every time a Congress begins, there are like 1,000 bills on day one. So you really have to make tutok.
Right.
You make tutok that it gets to the Committee on Rules, that it gets to the second reading, and finally to get to the hearing.
Para sa sponsor ng bill na yun, no?
Yeah.
And normally, kaano katagal yung mula first reading to second reading?
Medyo mabilis-bilis yun. Pagka masipag ang congressman, nakatutok siya sa bill niya, siguro within 30 to 60 days, that is scheduled for a hearing. It is assigned to a committee, and that committee on the public to comment.
I'm just, yeah.
Besides, even if it is being followed by a congressman, if the bill is not substantial enough to warrant consideration by the Committee on Rules, the Committee on Rules would just sit on it, and it will even die there without asking Congress for
Tsaka pag hindi priority yan, halimbawa, pag priority ng pangkasalukuyang gobyerno, okay, mabilis yun eh. Kasi nasa priority legislative. Meron ledak kasi dyan eh. Where they schedule priority. Pero pag minalas ka, wala sa priority ng presidente, baka matagalan ka masyado.
Well, actually,
You have to push it.
Sir, speaking of priorities, kasi yun nga, nagtataka din ako, how exactly do you classify, bills that have been passed or proposed, based on, which ones should be more prioritized, or is it like, kunyari, let's say, sige, pa-prioritize natin itong mga bill na unang final, instead of yung degree of importance niya. What I'm trying to draw, case in point, the Freedom of Information Bill. Yeah, apparently, that came out in the news, di ba? It was kind of superseded by another a parochial issue.
Usually the subject matter of a bill would be anchored on the SUNA of the President. The first step of legislation would be listening to the State of the Nation address of the President, then congressmen who might have picked up some of the substantial points that are being considered as priority by the SUNA will write a bill on that and then refer it to the
So, Congressman Tupas, di ibig sabihin nung sinasabi ni Congressman Pua na yung partido ng presidente ang nananaig sa House of Representatives. Sila nagdidesisyon, sila yung may control kung ano yung bill na mauuna, ano yung pangalawa. Tama ba yan?
Politically, di ba, yung Speaker of the House, kasi majority of all members yun, kung sino ang, kung manalo ka Speaker, pag binoto ka na majority of all the members. At usually, yung pinakamarami sa isang partido doon or coalition. So, politically, ang doon yung Speaker kasama ng Presidente sa palagi, no?
Is that a
Yung
normal
majority, yes.
tandem?
Yes.
The Speaker and the
And the
President?
majority, the Speaker and the President, and ang Speaker naman, kasama niya yung Majority Leader. So, normal naman yan Pero dadagdag ko lang dun sa priority bills, sa SONA. Every last Monday of July, every year, merong SONA. Si Presidente, nanonood yung taong bayan, dun niya linalatag yung priority niya. Diba? Usually, national bills yun na importante sa administration. Pero aside from that, hindi naman porke hindi kasama dun sa SONA ni Presidente, hindi na priority. Kasi mayroon yung priority yung House of Representatives itself. Yung mag-meeting kami, sinasabi naman ng Speaker na sa atin, meron tayong priority, although yung iba doon, hindi na isasama doon sa SONA. Like for example, merong mga local bills ka rin Yung local bills, hindi naman sasama doon. Sometimes, hindi nasasama sa priority of the House, yung local application. Pero doon na papasok kung masipag yung kongresista.
Tama.
Diba? Depende na sa'yo yun
Yung tinututukan talaga.
Yes. Yun yung sinasabi kanina ni Congressman Ed.
The SONA sets the agenda, but it doesn't exclude you from filing your own bills, following up your own bills. And then, the Speaker and the President are sensitive to current affairs. No? So, there are incidental events that happen along the way, then normally it becomes a priority. For example, I would presume now that we have this shipwreck in the Tubata Reef, I'm sure somebody is going to do something by filing a bill in relation to that. So, sensitive naman ang mga kongresista sa mga nangyayari sa current affairs. O for example, siguro, tungkol sa gun control, meron na naman papasok diyan kasi current So, the events of the day do affect the legislative agenda.
To expedite even the passage of a bill that has become incidental only after the SUNA, we will have to convene and then the leader will convene and will treat that as a priority bill or a priority subject that will be discussed by the executive department, the legislative departments, and the three branches of government for that matter. After the lead-up, that becomes also a part probably of the substantial priority to either the House or the Senate to pass the bill. That is also an exception to the SUNA.
But there is one thing that is very important, and I have to say it, that the major bill that a Congress must do is the budget of the government, the General Appropriations Act. That is the first and foremost
Pinaka-importante.
So when the budget hearings start, everything becomes secondary.
May deadline ba yan? Congressman?
May deadline yan. Normally, it is also set by the President, but normally, we'd like to finish that before the end of the year.
Pero-
the time is passed. No?
Yung tukol naman sa budget, hindi yun, yung pag hindi naman na-enact yun, hindi na.
Wala na
Kikilos,
na yun.
oo, hindi kikilos.
Sa Amerika, di ba?
Tama.
Sa Amerika talaga, shutdown eh.
Okay.
Pero dito naman, kahit hindi matapos yun, nare-enact lang naman under the Constitution. But still, yun yung isa sa pinaka-importante na piece of legislation, yung budget.
So, pag nag-umpisa na yan ng mga July, August, everything becomes second priority, so to speak. No? But that doesn't mean that you have to stop. Tama si Jun dyan.
Pag nag-umpisa na yan, kahit yung mga committee na iba, ay hindi na pinapayagan na mag-convene yung committees. Except nung experience namin, nung una, like, nung 2010, once nag-budget pumasok, lahat stop, except na kami no, kasi impeachment, ombudsman, so talaga tuloy kami. Pero yung iba, other than that, stop sila lahat.
Paano katagal yan yung pag-stop na yan? Like weeks?
Mabigat
Month?
kasi ang budget hearing. First of all, ano yan, whole day yan. Morning, afternoon.
Yes.
Even evening.
May evening pa. Ngayon, kung sakaling kinakapos ka na sa oras, pati Sabado, Linggo, remember, Congress only theoretically works Tuesday, Wednesday. But normally, when the budget hearing starts, it's inclusive of Thursday and Friday, then minsan Sabado pa nga.
Yeah.
Minsan magdamagan yan. No? Because that is one of the main functions of Congress to pass that budget.
Will it be more than a month then?
More.
More than a month.
3 months
Even more than a
easy.
year.
No,
Hindi
but
may
we can-
budget.
Pero kasi sabi ni Congressman Tupas, natitigil yung trabaho ng ibang committee. So,
Oh, one month
approximately, kailan busy lahat na tigil lahat?
Hindi, before dapat yun,
Appropriations muna.
dapat yun, pag pumasok sa amin yun, kasi under the Constitution, parang within 30 days yun, after SONA. So pag, usually ito sa gobyerno, sa administration ni President Aquino, mabilis ito eh. Kinabukasan, di ba? SONA, kinabukasan, dyan yung budget eh. So, pero yung talagang busy dito, yung pagdating na ng October, kasi before the break na October, last week of October, kailangan maipasa sa second reading
Tama.
para sa Senado sa November, pag bukas sa Senado, aabot sa Senado yon. By December, ma-enact into law. So ang busy talaga dito sa Congress around October, September, October. Natitigil yung ibang committees, yung functions.
Pwede nyo ba lang ipaliwanag sa ating manonood? Kasi medyo technical term ang appropriations eh. Pwede nyo bang ipaliwanag lang yung Tagalog? Ano ba yan? Appropriations. Yan ba yung igagasos ng gobyerno?
Every year.
Malalaman na yan, budget.
Budget.
Ganun ka-simple.
Para tumakbo
Ganun
ang
ka-simple
gobyerno.
ang budget.
The government, the President, submits to Congress the annual budget o kaya appropriations ang tawag doon. So lahat ng mga departamento,
Kung magkano po yung
Bibigyan sila ng
paggawa
budget,
ng kalye, ganyan.
sinasummarize ng Presidente yan, nagkakaroon siya ng General Appropriations Act. Tapos pinipresenta mo sa Kongreso yan. Lahat yan, hinihiring mo, bawat secretary, bawat department.
Hinihimay, ano? Oo.
Kung meron pang natipuhan ka dyan, bawat director, pwede mong questionin yan. So, hinihimay talaga yan. Walang biro niya, walang ano. Sabi niya, it's no joking matter. No? You really have to go through the entire process.
Yung pong diskusyon no tungkol sa budget, yung budget hearing nag-iiba ba yung budget kada distrito o uniform yun?
Nag-iiba.
Nag-iiba.
Tuwing taon.
Oo, tuwing taon.
Nag-iiba.
Nag-iiba.
Iba yung sa malaki, iba rin yung sa maliliit.
So based on the needs of the district, ganun po ba
No,
yun?
because each
Yeah,
department submits their budget. So, for example, the Department of Public Works and Highways might have certain projects that are germane to a particular province or district. So they would submit that as their public works budget.
Ibig sabihin lang noon, si Presidente, pag nag-submit ng executive, meron yun sa iba't ibang departamento. So magkaiba-iba yung distrito. Pero iba yun, andun yun, kasama rin dun sa budget, yung tinatawag naman nilang PDAF ng congressman.
Yes.
Yung PDAF naman ng congressman, dapat pantay yun. Yun yung hindi pa iba-iba. No?
Idap o pork barrel.
Yun yung pantay na, pero kasama rin yun sa budget na sinasubmit na executive at ina-approve ng Congress.
Paano kung yung budget kulang naman ng pera ng gobyerno? Paano yun?
Okay, bago nila sagutin yan, okay, magpapatuloy po tayo sa paghahanda sa Hatol ng Bayan pagkatapos ng ilang sandali.
Ang mga opisyal sa Kamara, Speaker of the House, Deputy Speaker, Majority Speaker, Minority Speaker, Secretary General, Sergeant at Arms. Mayroong 58 standing committees at 11 special committees ang Kamara.
Welcome back! Nandito pa rin po tayo sa talakayan ng paghahanda sa Hatol ng Bayan. At kasama pa rin natin si Representative Tupas, Representative Fua at si Congressman Charles Sita. And of course, my partner, Alex Colet. Okay, so may tinanong ka kanina, di ba Alex?
Pag gumagawa ba kayo ng Appropriations Act, yung budget ng gobyerno, inaalam ba kung kung may pera ba sa pondo o paano ang proseso tungkol doon?
Well, the government sets a revenue target, and on the basis of that revenue target, they also come up with an expense budget. So theoretically, the revenue and the expense, theoretically, they balance out. But then the revenue target is an executive function. The BIR, the customs are the principal agencies in charge of revenue. There are times when there is a cash shortfall. But then, normally, you do not do naman a project unless there are funds available. That's why we have an NCA, di ba? National Cash Allocation Authority.
Notice,
You don't normally build out a
Congressman.
project unless you have.
Sa maikling salita, kumbaga kung ang gobyerno may 1 trillion na budget, doon kayo magbabase ng gagawin yung budget sa Kongreso?
Hindi. There is a history of budgetary expense and income of government. The executive department will look at how much money was spent in the last year or in the last 3 years and how much did it earn during the last 3 years. And on the basis of this averaging all the 3 years income and expenses, they will start molding the ceiling of the budget for the current year. And then they will write a budgetary proposals with, of course, some other possible expenses that are not being earned yet, then submitted to Congress, and it is on those budgetary proposals of the executive department that are being borne by Congress, which Congress cannot increase, but it can decrease. I mean, the House of Representatives, because it is the House that starts the appropriation as well as the raising of revenues, cannot raise the amount of expenditures or the amount of income proposed by the executive department.
Normally, there is an unwritten rule, so to speak. Tama po si Congressman Juan. The congressman cannot just from the blue pick up a number and say we have to spend this money. You can't do that because the executive or the president, who's the chief operating officer of the country, is the one that sets the budget. There are assumptions when you formulate the budget. Make assumptions of this much revenues, this much inflation rate, this much expenses. So if you have any concerns about the project, we normally can delete, or you can actually delete, add, subtract, and hold. But you cannot arbitrarily amend the budget for some frivolous reason. You must have a reason, and you must know where to take the revenue from. You must assume that. They just don't pass a law. It's very well studied, and we assume that the president, the secretary are on the ball when they present the budget to Congress. Normally, the administration party supports the budget. It is the opposition or the other parties that come up with their own ideas of how to spend the budget.
Ito pong usaping budget. Of course, for the benefit of our viewers, ano po bang pagkakaiba ng PIDA sa IRA? Yan. Kasi madalas nating naririnig yan sa balita, di ba? Yung PDAF, IRA. Ano po bang pagkakaiba nung isa? Dun sa isa?
Yung ERA or Internal Revenue Allotment, para yun sa local government.
Okay.
Every year, nasa batas yun, local government code, may certain percentage yun, yung local government, galing sa national government, binibigay yun. So, at yun ang ginagastos ng lokal na gobyerno. Yung PDAF naman, ito naman yung tinatawag yung pork barrel eh.
Okay. Oo.
Ito naman, congressional naman ito. Para ito sa members ng Congress at ina-allot ito para sa distrito ng mga kongresista. So, yun yung basic dalawa.
Okay. And, napag-uusapan din lang po, you wanted to add something,
Yes,
sir?
I will add something. The ERA is legislated to meet the needs of the local government units. The PDAP is legislated to meet also the needs of the congressman in his district. There might be some projects that are being proposed but cannot be covered by the amount of the ERA, then the congressman will put in his PDAP and cover this project that has not been covered by the allotment of the ERA.
Siguro I would imagine, sir, ito yung mga infrastructure projects,
Yes,
ano?
yes.
But there is a lot of misconception about yung PDAF. First of all, the congressman can only identify the project. The congressman does not bid it out. The congressman does not implement it. He only 50 million, which is the hard portion of the PDAF, he identifies the project, but it is DPWH that conducts the bidding, that implements, and that bids. It's not the congressman. We just name. Now, those are soft, not 20 million. Yun ang mga non-infra. Computers, TESDA, livelihood, hospital funds. We don't implement it. If you're a congressman, let's say like me, and I used to put 5 million pesos in PGH, all I do is when somebody comes to me, I give him a referral letter. He goes to PGH. I have nothing to do with the dispersal of the funds. And you cannot just arbitrarily spend your soft money kung wala naman sa overall allowable programs ng gobyerno, because the government sets the parameters. Now, where can you spend your PDAF? It's normally education, livelihood, telecommunications, scholarships. You cannot spend it for buying your own car, buying your house. Hindi pwede yun.
Of course. Oo. We understand na yung Kamara ay binubuo ng iba't ibang komite. No? And of course, itong bawat isang komite ay may specific function o katungkulan. Representative Tupas, would you like to elaborate on that?
Yes, ang Kongreso, lalo na ang House of Representatives, merong mga binubuo ng committees yan. Basically, maraming committee kasi, pero basically yung committee na to, let's say, parang may parallel committees yan dun sa executive. Like yung mag-oversee at doon ang mga batas, for example, labor, meron yung committee sa labor rin.
Okay.
May committee yan sa justice. May committee yan sa local government. May committee yan sa education. So parang parallel rin yan sa mga line agencies. At maraming committees ang House of Representatives, hindi ko na rin mabilang, parang 60, 70 ata.
Marami yun, ha?
About 60.
Committee on Justice, ilan ang miyembro na congressman doon?
Kami, yung Committee on Justice, 55 ang members.
55 congressmen.
So isa yon sa medyo malaki-laking committee.
Okay.
Isa yon sa isang major committee yon. Tingin ko kasi medyo may mga less than 10 major committees. Ang tingin ko lang ang talaga nag-function. So may mga committees, di ba? Yun ang tanong ng ating mamamayan. Kasi yung bulk o yung karamihan sa trabaho, hindi naman talaga nangyayari doon sa plenary. Yung plenary parang doon na yun yung botohan na eh.
Oh, botohan na.
Parang luto na yun eh. Diba? Except for example, ibang bills yung hindi pa luto, diba? Yung mga controversial. Pero 90% of the non-controversial bills, ang trabaho talaga sa committee.
Doon sinusulat yung bill.
Well, doon pinag-uusapan. Doon may committee hearing na pupunta kayo at pinapakinggan niya yung publiko. At doon talaga yung bulk na trabaho ng isang kongresista sa committee. Kaya napaka-importante yon. From first reading, once na rin-refer na yun sa committee, before second reading, napakalaki ng trabaho ng committee. Ang committee ang magsusponsor ng isang bill para sa second reading na. So, galing sa committee, magsusponsor yung committee, isang committee, at magkakaroon ng debate, may committee amendments, at may botohan sa second reading.
Meron kaming tinatawag na committee report.
Yes.
Okay.
So after has been said, there is a committee report.
Merong ganon.
Where everything that you discovered in the process of the hearings and the discuss is contained in that committee report. And that committee report has to be approved by the majority of the members of your committee.
Okay. The
spirit
So in
of
the case of the
transparency
Committee on
talaga.
Justice of Congressman Tupa, is one of the most active and important committees. You have to get 26 guys to concur with the committee report. Otherwise, your bill doesn't.
Majority rin pala.
Majority
Majority,
Okay.
yan. Tama si Congressman Ed, majority of all yan eh. So,
Correct.
pag walang magiging batas, pag walang hindi na ipapasa sa committee,
Kailangan
committee
pumasa
report,
muna doon sa committee
Yeah.
bago
Yes. Ilabas.
ilabas sa second reading.
yung mga debate na nangyayari sa second reading, yung mga amendments ng committee at individual,
Wala na yan.
yun na yun, after committee report na yun eh. Sa committee
minsan-
report yun.
Minsan, pag mainit ang usapan, sa committee report pa lang, hindi na kayo magkasundo.
Oo nga. Oo,
You have to
nangyayari
get
yun.
the approval
Masastuck
of
na
the
ron.
majority. So anybody who says somebody wants to ram it down your throat, they can't do it.
Kaya nga yung mga tao, pag pupunta sa Congress, sometimes, di ba, parang walang tao. Pero yung mga tao kasi, pag andun sa committees eh. Doon talaga yung trabaho.
Right.
So, let's say pumasa na sa committee report. So, dadali na sa plenary. So, nasa second reading na yan. So, botohan na yan. Kumbaga.
But before you get that on the floor, you have to go to the Committee on Rules. The Committee on Rules schedules it for you.
Okay.
Yun.
If they don't think you're important, goodbye. Although I'm really speaking in the extremes, no, but it can happen. If there are 9 other bills that are of major import and you come along, maybe you may not be
yun ang gusto kong
scheduled.
tanungin. Kasi halimbawa, nasa minority block ka, lumagpas ka na sa committee report, eh, hindi mo kasundo yung nagpapatakbo ng committee on rules. Pwede niyang barahin yon?
Si Congressman Fua, minority. Tanungin natin.
Ito, my experience as a minority is, whatever the committee decides, that is it.
Okay.
No matter how loud a minority shouts in the committee hearing, his voice is like the voice in the wilderness.
Wow.
And the Committee on Rules meets every day. The Committee on Rules meets every day.
Yeah.
It's there. It's a permanent institution. But based on my 9 years experience, no, alam mo, there comes a point when the majority and minority, we respect each other. So sometimes, even if the positions are quite divergent, you just have to let the minority speak out and let the bill heard, di ba?
Yeah.
Hindi naman sabi, sorry ka na lang kasi minority ka, hindi naman pwede.
Hindi mo pwedeng
We respect
eksplora
each
yun.
other. So we don't agree with you, but guys, you've got the right as well as we do.
But the majority of the members, led by the chairman of the committee, if the minority will not be silent because he has a poem, he will allow him to talk. And then after that, the committee will not rule on what he is saying. The committee will just say, noted.
At in other words, pag nag-decide ang committee, parang yun na yun eh.
Done deal.
Well, most of the time naman, hindi naman lahat, pero once kasi pinag-aralan yun, may hearing yun, once nag-decide ang committee, although merong din nag-object doon, pero once the decision na yun, respeto rin yun ng Committee on Rules para sa schedule
Correct,
nila.
correct.
At most likely, yun na naipapasa sa plenary at nagiging batas.
Oh.
Now, but remember also that as a member of the House, you're entitled to certain rules because we use parliamentary rules. No? There are certain things that you can do if you feel that you're being blackballed.
Yeah.
There are certain motions that you can file on your collective privileges and things like that. No? So what I'm saying, you can only muzzle the opposition up to a certain point because they have the rights.
So, pag sa second reading, kung magbobotohan, majority wins din yan.
Yeah.
Bago mapunta sa third reading.
Majority wins.
Yeah, viva voce yan eh. Parang sasabihin lang yun. Sasabihin na ng speaker, di ba? Sabihin na ng speaker na pag yung aye, pag in favor kasi aye, so sisigaw ka.
Yes, guys have it.
Okay.
Oo.
Pag nays, ibig sabihin negative, sisigaw ka rin. So, kung ang pandinig ng speaker, the ayes malakas, sabi ng speaker, yun ang magiging decision. So, once the ayes have it, pass na yun sa second reading.
Okay.
Yun ang process. Paano
But the speaker is in doubt. The speaker will
Oo, may mga counting by teller yun.
ito
Or you can actually demand.
nominal voting.
So
by
yung third
counting.
reading ba parang formality na lang yun? Before you pass it to the Senate? Is
Ang
it?
third reading, yun yung botohan na pwede kang mag-explain ng boto mo.
Ah,
Yun
Pero parang napasa na siya.
Hindi pa.
Hindi
Kasi, di ba, 3 readings naman under the Constitution.
That's right.
First, referral. Second, yung viva voce. Dapat makapasa sa third, otherwise hindi siya pupunta sa Senado. Kailangan siya makapasa sa third. So it's not just a mere formality.
Okay.
Pero ang ibig lang sabihin nun, na-hurdle niya na yung 2 readings. Kaya third na siya.
So kung pumasa na sa third,
Pasinit.
pasado na.
Sa Kongreso.
Kongreso.
Sa House.
Dadalingin na sa Senado.
so there's a good chance na pwede siyang maging
Better than good.
Right. Once a bill reaches the third reading,
Yeah.
Doon sa yung Freedom of Information Bill, which we passed on second reading, never saw the light of day during the last Congress. On the third reading,
Yeah.
it never did.
It was the rule committee who ruled that we shall not report this on third reading. Because
The same
there were those who did not like it pass.
Hindi, pero sa ngayon, tingin ko at napasa yun sa second reading, napasa yun sa committee, pero wala pa rin sa plenary. Diba? Ganun ang nangyari
The
sa
Marcos
freedom.
compensation law, same.
But
So we passed it, but it did not pass through the Senate nga pala. So there are occasions when, but these are rarities. I think in general we can say, correct me if I'm wrong, that
yes, that's okay.
the atmosphere in Congress most of the time is really congenial, no?
Okay.
And it's a matter of, most of the time we give and take,
Yeah.
most of the time. But there are of course times when we don't.
Yun ang gusto kong malaman. Ano yung give and take na yun?
Kasi may explanation yan.
House trading yan.
Ako, magandang tanong yan, no? But we have to pause for a break. So, wag po kayong alis. Kami po ay magbabalik.
Mga House Speakers na naging Pangulo ng Bansa, Sergio Osmeña, Manuel Rojas.
Welcome back po dito sa paghahanda para sa Hatol ng Bayan. Naku Alex, merong mga itinawag na questions ang ating mga viewers pero pasagutin muna natin sila dun sa tanong na iniwanan natin.
Congressman Shalcita, may sinasabi kayo kanina na may give and take yung mga congressman sa paggawa ng batas.
Yes, because speaking from experience, the Department of Housing, which I filed 3 times over, there were certain things that I had to give up, even if I felt very strongly about them, para mapasa yung batas. See, one small word, one small letter there, if you don't agree to the proponent, baka yung buong mo hindi mapasa, no? So you just have to give and take. No? And normally we do. The art of compromise is very important in writing laws. Otherwise, nothing's going to get to happen. Because you have to please 280 other guys. No? So there's got to be some room for compromise. You have 280 brains there, you know. You cannot make them agree 100% to everything that you want. So kailangan mag-compromise.
And
ka.
280 different personalities.
Exactly.
Tungkol naman dun sa House, kasi mukhang napakahalagang posisyon yan sa Kamara, no? At sa pananaw ng maraming botante, pwedeng maging presidential candidate ang naging Speaker of the House. Anong tingin mo dyan, Congressman Tupas?
No, kanina nabanggit mo yan, Alex. No? Yung speaker, well, powerful position yan dahil number 4 yan eh. Number 1, under sa ating hierarchy, yung presidente. Number 2, yung vice president, di ba? Number 3, ang Senate president. Number 4, yung Speaker of the House. So talagang, siguro mayroong ganyang conception na, or pagtingin, pananaw na baka maging presidente. Pero tingnan mo yung history. Pag tingnan mo yung history, ako, iniisip-isip ko parang isa lang. Isa lang na Speaker of the House sa ating history ang naging presidente ng Pilipinas. At karamihan, tumakbo pero natalo. Yung because of 1902 Philippine Bill, di ba? Yung first Philippine National Assembly, di ba, October 16, 1907 yun. At around 80 members yon sa lower house, yung National Assembly, ang naging speaker doon, si Sergio Osmeña, Senior. At well, sa aking pagkaalala ko, siya lang ang Speaker of the House sa history natin na naging presidente. Maraming Speaker of the House ang tumakbo. Hindi mo mabilang yun sa kamay mo. At parang tumakbo sila, parang liyamado pa eh. Pero hindi sila nananalo sa presidente. Bakit? Hindi ko alam. Pero the point is, the Speaker of the House is the fourth highest official of the land at importante siya. Pero when it comes to presidente, ibang usapan na yan.
Oo nga. Executive kasi yun eh, no? Pinky, meron mo?
Oo, meron tayong mga questions galing sa ating mga viewers, ano? And the first one is from Andrew of Novaliches. Ang sabi niya, kasama po ba sa trabaho ng kongresista ang pagtulong sa mga namatayan, sa mga may sakit, sa pagnininong, sa kasal, etc.? Sino pong gusto sumagot doon?
Kasama except pagnininong.
Okay.
That is not an obligation on the part, although by tradition and by nature of Filipinos, if that person who wants to get married, he wants to make you a sponsor, ang utang na loob na bumubuto siya sa iyo o nag-leader siya sa kanyang community will push the congressman to accept being sponsor of the wedding. That is part of the nature of Filipinos. But on others, like helping the poor, that's part of the duty of the congressman. Even if the congressman is duty is only to legislate, but he has a paid up that can help a poor man get his medicine in the hospital. Because the duty of the congressman is to appropriate money for the government so they are considered controller of the purse of government. In the disbursement of this fund, the congressman can participate anywhere that the money is being spent. And when the money of the government is spent through the PDAF, appreciate that is still part of the duty of the congressman.
Okay.
Okay. And another question is, well, this time from Miguelito of Ilocos Norte. Sabi po niya, namomonitor po ba ang paggastos sa pork barrel?
Yes.
Meron po bang auditing kayo? Sa
Well,
Kongreso?
definitely, you submit your list, then it is subjected to ASARO, which means it's reviewed by the budget, and after which there is an NCA, National Cash Allotment, before it is dispersed. Yes, definitely, and you're accountable to it.
Okay.
You're subjected to audit, COA, the works. No?
Ang tanong ko tulad ba ng Senado, certification lang pwede na?
O, di
Sa
ba
mga
certificate?
gastos nyo.
Ay,
Kasi-
hindi.
Kasi sa Senado, sa COA daw, basta may certification lang ng gastos, okay na.
Hindi pwede sa amin po yun. It's got to be receipted, it's got to be bidded out, the works. No?
There has to be paperwork talaga.
Absolutely.
Oo, of course.
Mystic, paperwork.
Walang one-page certification.
The documents that
Wala
support,
kami ganun.
the documents that support disbursement of money is on the implementing agency. So the congressman does not have any.
Kailangan
duty
ma-emphasize
to
yun na hindi po kami ang mag-i-implement, ahensya ng gobyerno ang mag-i-implement. Hindi, halimbawa, 5 million hospital, hindi galing sa bulsa namin, hindi. We give it to PGH, and PGH is the one who implements it. Livelihood, TESDA is the one who implements it. Scholarship, PCUP, they're the ones who implement. We just send the names, they're the ones who pay for the funds.
Just to clarify siguro yung kay Alex na tanong. Yung kay Alex yung one-page certification, yun yung refer ni Alex eh. At yun yung sa mga committees. Sa committees yun, hindi yun sa PDAF. Yun yung kanina yung refer mo sa Senado. Yun yung usapan nila sa Senado. Subject yun sa, yes, yung sa mga committees, yung one-page certification.
Yung certification of expenses, you mean?
Yes, kasali yun, yung mga MOE, iba naman yun. No?
Okay.
Siguro subject na isang segment yun dito.
Ay, napag-uusapan, nabanggit niyo yung MOE. Ito, tanong galing kay Tony of Pampanga. May MOE ba kayo sa Kamara? Saan ninyo ginagastos kung meron man?
It's very, very restrictive. For example, we are already given an office. We're given 6 people. We're given X amount for certain minor expenses, Xerox machine, but everything is built in. Everything is automatic.
Ibig sabihin, Congressman, yun yung per office natin, di ba?
There's very little flexibility.
Parang abono pa ako eh. Kasi di ba meron kaming office dito sa Manila, meron pa kaming district office doon na mas malaki pa actually yung office namin. So yung sweldo ng mga tao, yun yung MOE eh. Yung MOE actually, yung iba, actually, yung sweldo sa personal services yon. Pero since kulang talaga yun, ilan na yung staff ng Congress?
Pero parang
kami ang
palabas,
gasto.
hindi nyo diskarte kung paano nyo gagastusin yun.
hindi.
Na-set na. At
Kulang pa,
pare-pareho pa yun sa lahat ng
Pare-pareho.
congressman.
No except.
Abono ka pa na, Alex, pag ikaw yung congressman.
Ganun ba?
Sa distrito.
Okay, so ako curious ako, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers are very curious, no? Ano bang kinakailangan, no? Mga qualities and probably qualifications para maging isang miyembro ng Kamara.
Ako, tingin ko yung pinakauling sincerity and hindi ko alam kung tinatanong mo yung
Katangian.
Actually,
or qualification.
Actually, both eh.
Okay.
Both. Kunyari, in terms of qualification and of course, yung katangian na hinahanap.
Yung qualification, madali yun. Kasi nasa constitution naman yun eh. At least 25 years of age or 1 year, ano yan dapat? 1 year residency. At saka yung pinaka-qualification doon, able to read and write. Yun yung qualification natin. Yung katangian, yun yung medyo kailangan ng mga botante talaga nating suriin yun.
Yes.
Diba? Kailangan talagang sincere and honest. Tingin ko pinakauna pa rin yung sincerity and honesty. Na talagang yung puso mo, para ka sa public service. Andun ka, para talaga sa pagsilbi sa tao. Kasi pag andun sa gobyerno, tempting na eh. Pag andun ka sa gobyerno, andun yung, lalo sa Congress, meron kang influence, may power. At kung hindi buo yung puso mo talaga para sa public service, naiba yung landas mo. And I think that is the most important sa
Yeah, Congressman, gusto ko lang isingit ito dahil nasabi mo ngayon sincerity. Kasi merong pananaw ang maraming botante na maraming congressman tumatanggap ng bayad para maipasa ang bill. Kumbaga dahil sa sarili nilang kapakanan, iniisip nila sarili ng kapakanan, nagpapabayad sila
Yeah.
because of
Well,
greed para mabarahin ang isang bill o maipasa ang bill. Anong
Tingin ko very very rare yan. Yung, I think you're referring there sa isang bill na controversial, like for example, sin tax. Diba? May mga lobby groups yun eh. Pag sinabi mo yung sin tax, ang doon na yung sigarilyo, ang doon yung tabako. Siguro yun yung inaamon na papabayad.
Okay, hindi ka
Hindi ko
susuportahan
alam,
ng campaign funds.
Hindi ko alam, pero mostly ang mga congressman, hindi naman nagpapabayad yun para sa bill eh. Hindi eh. Very rare occasion yon. Yung sinasabi ko lang dito, Pinky and Alex, na pag doon ka na sa pwesto, lalo na sa gobyerno natin, maraming temptation. Maraming yung
Distractions.
influence, distractions,
Yes.
at kung hindi buo yung loob mo for public service, doon ka nasisira eh.
To kind of make it a little bit more palatable, no? Yung halimbawa may lobby group, okay, like Syntax Bill, yung mga tobacco companies, they'll offer this group of congressmen, barahin niyo yung Syntax Bill na yan and we will support you in your next campaign. Let's say 5 million each. How would that's the point that I'm trying to.
Posible yun. Pero probably sagot yun.
How would the congressman handle those situations? Because this is the reality
I have never encountered any lobby group that offers any money.
for the campaign.
Yeah, never did. The most they would insinuate that offering you a trip abroad or a scholarship here and there, but that's already
Something
the
in
most.
kind. Not really.
But I immediately shut it down. At dagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Neil kanina tungkol sa qualifications ng congressman. I think what is also important, the congressman be accessible. Pag tumawag ang constituent mo, sagutin mo kahit anong oras yan. Kaya Sabado ka Linggo, wala kaming office
Kaya
hours
oras
eh.
ng gabi.
Sorry Sunday, walang ganun eh. When you're a congressman, you're a public servant, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week period, and you must be accessible by phone, by fax, now by Facebook.
Yes. Para
By
pala
text
kayong
and by voice.
para pala kayong mga doktor o kaya media.
Well, that's how I put it.
on
Yeah,
call.
I have another experience. I was asked by a businessman to monitor the movement of the bill
Okay.
that is being moved in Congress. But innocently, I have to tell him it's already on third reading. It has already been voted on final reading. But that was all that I was giving him, not knowing that he was trailing on the movement of the bill because, see, for example, the sin tax. He will buy all the cigarettes in the market and then sell it after the sin tax is passed. He will make a profit. I never knew that that was your purpose. But there never was any money offered because I was just telling the truth that the bill is on third reading. The bill is being voted now on third reading and it is in the Senate. So if he buys all the cigarettes or the liquor in the market and then sells it after the sin tax is imposed, I never knew that he was making profit out of what I was telling him. But there is no money involved there. I was just being honest with what I was doing in Congress.
I just have a question, ano, for kunyari, let's say, let's take the case of mga new candidates, yung bagong takbo, no, yung first time nilang tumakbo, first timers na tumakbo para sa Kamara. What tips can you give them so they can, stand a chance against the so-called old timers, yung mga matagal na, yung may eksperyensya na. Kasi sila, syempre, they have yet to prove themselves, hindi po ba? And of course, in most cases, yung mga prospective na botante nila, syempre, hindi pa sila lubos na kilala. Paano po ba, ano po bang yung payo ang maibibigay nyo sa mga katulad nila?
Well, I think you should not be overly ambitious. You should run for a position that befits you, so to speak. Number two, you just have to present yourself. If you're opposing an incumbent, then as the better alternative. No? And if it's your first time to run, then you should not be overly ambitious, not overly aggressive, and not overly, so to speak. No? I think you should also stand on your own merits. No? Don't depend on your father, brother, sister. Defend yourself and aspire as you are.
Yamado ba yung depende sa professional background ng tumatakbo? Kunwari, kung abogado ka, yamado ka ba? Mas
Hindi.
magiging masilbi ka ba sa kongreso kung ganon?
Yamado ang mga abogado. Tingin ko kasi lawmaking ito. Like,
Of course.
it takes me, what takes a lawyer, like June, 15 minutes, will take me 1 hour, 2 hours, no? Because I'm not a lawyer. But I study, no?
Right.
So I can compete with them, but it takes me much more effort to do it.
I agree with Congressman Ed. Medyo, siguro, pag lawmaking, ang abogado talaga yamado. At yun yung one of the reasons bakit yung tatay ko, sabi niya, bago ka mag-isip sa politika or public service, mag-abogado ka muna kasi it involves the law.
Yeah,
Pero
so
pag tinignan mo ang 15th Congress, kasi naghanap kami ng abogado nung nag-perform kami ng team for the impeachment ng prosecutors. Tinignan namin, out of 285 sa 15th Congress, naghanap kami ng 11 prosecutors yan 70 lang yung lawyers. So,
Really,
kukunti lang pala.
That's about 25%.
Ganun lang pala ka-percent dun sa ngayon. So, medyo talagang nahirapan na kami pumili kasi konti lang yung pool. And to think, kala pag lawmaking, marami abogado pero hindi pala. Sa this Congress, 70 lang out of 285.
Alam mo, Alex, ang dami ko pang tanong, no? And of course, parang pakiwari ko, kulang itong segment na to para palakayin natin yung mga tanong natin, sa Kamara. But, hopefully we can invite you again to answer more of our questions, no? But for now, we'd like to ask you, gentlemen, to give our viewers your messages in line with the coming elections? Let's start with Representative.
Sa akin lang po, voting for candidates to a public position is a very important aspect of being a good citizen. No? So exercise it well, exercise it judiciously, and pick your candidates according to their merits and qualification. Yun lang po, talagang importante po yan. Piliin po natin ang magagaling na tao. Sa Kongreso man yan, sa Senado man yan, sa pagka-mayor. Let us to study the qualifications of the candidates and our experience with them before we finally make the vote. Yan lang po. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Representative Shalcita. What about Representative?
Since my constituents are Cebuano speaking, may I be allowed to speak in Cebuano?
Sige po.
Sige.
Ngayon, hapon kanina nihang tanan sa Visayas, ang hindaghan karon nga kandidato nga nanguntra sa nga naglingkod, puros pangdaot lang sa ilang mga kontra. Pasalig og nga dagko kay mga proyekto ug daghan kayong kwarta. Dili na ta matintal ini nga atong piliun katong tawag yun na sa panahon na sangpiton ka sa imong sa iyang panabang andam og tagana mukanaog sa iyang hagdan aron tabangon ka. O kung pananglitan imong gitanaw nga ang salapi sa gobyerno giayo paghatag sa mga proyekto sa imong distrito, tanawa ng tawhana kay mo may tinuod nga nahigugma sa iyang mga tao. Ayaw na ng mga nga pasalig.
Thank you very much, Congressman Pua. And of course, Representative Tupas.
Very clear sabi ng Constitution. The Philippines is a democratic and republican state. Sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. Ibig sabihin yung poder na sa taong bayan pa rin ultimately. At sa darating na halalan, yun ang maghuhusga sa amin lahat po kayo, yung taong bayan. At napaka-importante ito. Suriin niyo mabuti kung sino yung mga kandidatong pinipili niyo dahil ito magli-lead sa inyo for the next 3 years. And sabi nga nila, we get the government that we deserve. So talaga yung taong bayan, kayo yung pinaka-powerful dito sa ating bayan. And I hope na tama yung pipiliin nyo na mangunguna sa atin, whether local governments, Senate, or the House of Representatives in the next 3 years. So maraming salamat, Pinky. Maraming salamat, Alex.
Okay, and maraming salamat po sa ating mga guests. Thank you for making to be with us today. And of course, marami po kaming talagang nalinaw na mga usapin sa ating talakayan. Ano? Thank you very much.
Huwag po kayong aalis at magbabalik po ang paghahanda sa hatol ng bayan.
Filing of bill with the Secretary General's office. The House bill number is assigned and the bill is listed in the agenda. First reading. The bill is referred to a committee. The committee reviews and recommends after hearing. The Committee on Rules includes the bill in the calendar of business. Second reading. There's an open debate on the bill, followed by the proposal for amendments and voting on the bill. Third reading. Voting on the bill in final form and referral to the Senate. The Bicameral Conference Committee reconciles the House and Senate versions for submission to the President for his approval. The bill becomes a Republic Act, published and takes effect after 15 days.
At bago po kami tuluyang magpaalam, we'd like to thank Urban Philippines for the sofa set of the show. They're located at 2634 Rockefeller Street, Barangay San Isidro, Makati City, Philippines. You can call them up at 843-1177 or email them at sales_ergocontracts.com or visit their website at www.ergocontracts.com. At muli na naman po tayong nalinawan sa araw na ito. Diba, Alex?
Tama.
At maraming salamat sa mga nagpadala ng kanilang mga katanungan, no? Para sa araw na ito. Okay? And of course, samahan ninyo kaming muli bukas dito pa rin sa paghahanda sa Hatol ng Bayan. Ako po si Pinky Aceron.
At ako naman si Alex Colet. Nagsasabing ang pagboto ay karapatan at pribilehyo. Huwag nating sayangin ito. Hanggang bukas, maraming salamat sa inyong panonood.